This is WTCG, Channel 17, Atlanta, Georgia, and it's time now for the 10 o'clock news for this Friday, September 16th, 1977. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins, and because of the Braves game, this is an abbreviated version of the 10 o'clock news, and here's what's happening. In Washington, Budget Director Burt Nance ran away a tough question in the U.S. Senate panel Friday over whether he delayed a routine Federal Bureau of Investigation probe into his past and whether bank overdrafts during his 1974 gubernatorial campaign gave him an unfair advantage. But he also picked up some vocal support as Senator Thomas Eagleton, Democrat of Missouri, claimed that Lentz was being smeared by the same broad brush used so effectively by the late Senator Joseph McCarthy. In the 1950s, we had guilt by association, Eagleton said. Senator McCarthy made it into the fine art. In 1977, we have guilt by accumulation. McCarthy, a Wisconsin Republican, made headlines during the Fed days when largely unsubstantiated accusations of widespread communism infiltration in the United States. Some of the harshest questioning of Lentz came from Senator Charles Mixie Mifafs, Republican of Maryland, who claimed that the ability of Lentz's campaign committee to overdrafts at the Lentz Run First National Bank of Georgia was an asset for a candidate like the goose that lays the golden egg. After a second full day of grilling, the budget director of the committee adjourned its public session at a rare Saturday hearing scheduled to start about 10 a.m. in about 12 hours. Mafface alleged that the overdraft constituted a political loan to a bank to Lentz. Its president and in violation of federal banking laws. He said a federal banking investigator, John P. Sherry, had considered him a violation in the 1975 report. But Lentz noted that the Department of Justice already had contained and considered the matter and declined to prosecute. He also said it was an old issue that the Senate Government Operations Committee had considered at the original confirmation hearings in January at Lentz's appointment as the director of the Office of Management and Budget. The committee, now known as the Governmental Affairs Committee, is conducting new hearings into Lentz's financial problems. In addition to Lentz, an issue should be before the committee and whether it failed to conduct adequate confirmation hearings of Lentz in the first place. President Carter, meanwhile, told a group of journalists he still has an open mind on Lentz, but he appeared that pleased, by the way, that hearings had gone so far. Now that he has answered those charges, I hope that and believe that successfully. I think he has routinely enhanced his position. Lentz said that with respect to the campaign overdrafts, the responsibility for this check writing rested with his campaign committee while he was actively engaged in vote seeking, but he did not deny that being able to write overdrafts may have given him his advantage. Lentz did flatly deny allegations by Method that he delayed one of the four occasions to the sign of the papers that gave the FBI permission to investigate his background and determine his fitness to the OMB post after Carter nominated him. Apparently visibly ruffled for the first time in the 2 days of hearings, Lentz said, "Nobody ever told me there was any difficulty in all getting any sort of paper signed by me. As soon as it was put before I signed it, I have nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to hide." In Washington, the Senate passed on Friday a bill to prohibit labor unions in the United States military services. The measure was sent to the House by a wide margin of 72-3 in a roll call vote. It would impose criminal penalties, a maximum of 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine on any member of the armed forces or reserves, including the National Guard, joining a union seeking to negotiate with the government on terms and conditions of military service. Officers and civilian employees of the military would be prohibited from bargaining with a labor union. Solicitation of union membership will also be banned. Senator John C. Stennis, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee and chief sponsor of the bill, along with Senator Storm Furman, Republican of South Carolina, called it a preventative. Although the membership of the American Federation of Government Employees recently voted 4-1 against an effort to organize in the military, Stennis said the threat remains. It is a distinct, possibly, unless the Congress acts to express a strong national sentiment against it. Stennis said, as passed, the bill would withdraw the existing right to join unions for civilian technicians would work for military reserve and the National Guard units to which they are also required to be members. Senate said there are about 16,000 such technicians who now belong to unions. An amendment by Senator James Aborzak, Democrat of South Dakota, to exempt the dual status civilian technicians was defeated 43-34. Opposition challenged the unionization ban for civilian technicians as a violation of First Amendment rights. Under the Constitution, he said the whole bill to subject to constitutional question, but it was especially reprehensible to not allow civilian technicians to have A representation of the right was supported by Senators Jacob K. Javits, Republican, New York, and Harrison Williams, Democrat, New Jersey. Thurman said the law authorizing the employment of the civilian technicians in 1968 required them to be members of the reserve units and subject to military authority. The technician unions, he said, are trying to demilitarize the technician force, and that's what we are trying to prevent. Another amendment to permit representation of military personnel in non-combatant grievance situation by professional association was defeated 73-3. Senate told that the Senate the bill approved unanimously by the Senate Armed Services Committee is not an anti-union measure, but it's in the kind of shared decision-making and collective bargaining that works in a store or factory cannot work in an infantry company or aboard a Navy ship. The military is built in.
I don't like you.
Discipline and immediately respond to orders. Any development which would be damage the chain of command weakens the discipline and response.
And I'm here to stop you.
In Lansing, Michigan, a huge earth-moving crane tore the bottom from a pedestrian bridge Friday and sent school children flying off the overpass on a 15-foot-high span collapsed under a busy 4-lane highway. 6 boys ranging from ages 8 to 11 suffered broken limbs and other injuries. The 2 were placed on a critical list. An eyewitness said he thought one of the children may have been blinded, but this could not be confirmed. That children were walking across the bridge, and when the crane bucket hit, they went flying off the overpass, said Lawrence Schroeder of Lansing, who was driving his car behind the truck calling the crane. The double-span overpass was built recently as part of a highway widening project to protect students on the way from the Barnes Elementary School from the heavy Logan Street traffic below. The school is only blocks from the General Motors sprawling automobile plant complex. Among the victims was one of 2 school safety boys who were stationed at the skywalk to direct younger children across the overpass and keep them out of the street, police said. The other safety guard, John Rams 11, was credited helping kindergarten children down from an undamaged portion of the span, dragging 2 of them off bodily. School officials plan to honor them with a special safety award. We're just all upset about the whole thing. Those were friends and neighbors who got hurt, said his mother, Mrs. Bonnie Ryers. Those were kids lying all over the place, said an eyewitness, Don Thurin, who left his car in an intersection to help the children after he watched the bridge collapse. All of them were bleeding once one kid had both of his arms broken and he claimed that he couldn't see. One of them, when that was shut, weeping parents rushed to the scene upon learning the accident, and those where children escaped serious injury expressed relief. The street was closed to traffic and school officials called off classes. Students from the other side of Logan will be based to school started Monday on the bus. Kilgarirt were Dean Salinas 9, who suffered a skull fracture and fractured vertebrae, and Charles Southwell 9, who fractured both wrists and possibly other bones. The others were in conditions were described as fairly good, where the safety guard Scott Wills 10 shoulder fracture, head and finger lacerations, David A. Winoski 10 a fractured left foot and facial injuries, Timothy Desmond 11 treated and released to his parents, and Jeremy Abud admitted to intensive care with him caused injuries at age 8 as Abud's age. Washington and Senate approved legislation Friday to require employees to provide the same health and disability benefits for pregnancy as they offer for other medical treatment. The bill passed 75-11 and sent to the House, which would affect only this business where now only workers' health and disability plans for disability benefit plans, as no employee would have to enact a plan to mean no longer employees could not eliminate existing plans rather than add pregnancy. On a 44-41 vote, the Senate tabled as an amendment by Senator Thomas Eagleton, Democrat of Missouri, to exclude confidential abortions except to save the mother's life. The bill was embraced by a coalition of women's groups organized by labor, civil rights organizations, and right to life advocates by opposed by business was the insurance.
You did it right, and you went to the one place that helps you do it right.
Injury is too costly. The bill was designed to overturn a 1978 Supreme Court ruling that said working women who are disabled by pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions are not entitled by law to the same benefits that their employers provided workers and other disabilities. The court case involved the General Electric Company Health and Disability Plan that excluded pregnancy but covered such things as vasectomies and hair transplants. The bill defines discrimination based on pregnancy and childbirth as sex discrimination under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. On the abortion issue, Eagleton said federal law should not be used to force someone to violate his or her moral confidence, and his amendments should, upon suit, would be allowing abortion payments to be negotiated under collective bargaining agreement. But Senator Butch Fayette, a Democrat from Indiana, said that abortion is perhaps the most personal question a human being is to face in the Senate, when one of the main says holding the position to make this decision for even one woman. Senator Harrison Williams, Democrat, New Jersey, the bill's manager, said of removing the financial burdens of a worker who continues her pregnancy. The bill is already providing an effective so that the amendment is unnecessary. The bill will be mandate compliance no later than July 1st, 1978. The Senate defeated 32-30 the amendment to the Senator Orrin Hatch, Republican Utah, to limit disability payments for normal pregnancies in 6 weeks. In Atlanta, the State Board of Insurance has approved a preliminary budget of $411 million for the 1978-79 fiscal year, which includes a pay raise for employees of the Georgia University system. A substantial pay increase for employees of the university system is prime financial need for the university system for 1979. Chancellor George Simpson told the 50-member board on Thursday the budget, which is $88 million higher than the current budget of $35.6 million, includes $31 million for the 10% merit raise and $5 million for upgrading non-academic salaries now being studied by under a review ordered by.
Business drives business.
That's his own legislature. Simpson and Georgia regular the list of 12 southern states and percentage of pay raises issued during the last 3 years. Mississippi led the list with 20%, and instead Georgia has 14.5%, and Florida 12 with 12.1%. The chancellor said the 2.5% built-in pay raise last year was also included in the budget, but added that it is separate from the 10% merit increase. Also included an $11 million increase in the capital outlay funds for several construction projects already approved by the regions, and special distribution and funds of $750,000 security a revised plan ordered by the federal government early this year.
It was absolutely unbelievable. Watch this.
The plan was submitted to the United States Department of Health, Education, Welfare on September 1st. State officials said that $500,000 will be used for scholarships of 100 at graduate and professional schools, $250,000 for the support of special programs at the Medical College of Georgia. In Abilene, Georgia, Comptroller John J. O'Brien and his daughter Eleanor O'Brien were suspended Friday by Columbia County Commission Chairman Lynn J. Norris, but kept on the job by 3 other commissioners. The commissioner's actions came as a heated emergency session at the courthouse Friday afternoon. Norris said the suspension was ordered by federal labor officials responsible for the funds spent under Comprehensive Employment and Training Act at CEDM programs. The labor officials Thursday declared the O'Brien situation in case of nepotism because the comptroller had administrative responsibility for most county employees, including his daughter Norris said. Ms. O'Brien said that she was hired in July, less than a month before her father. Norm said CETA officials had recently discovered the situation. CETA funds paid 2/3 of the comptroller's $15,000 salary and all of Miss O'Brien's salary of approximately $7,500. County officials said Miss O'Brien is an emergency medical technician with a county ambulance service. At Friday's session, Commissioner Dylan Watkins moved to pay both salaries and salary from the county funds until the matter is resolved by the United States Labor Department Regional Office. Commissioners Vince Robertson and U.H. Pittman joined Watkins in passing a motion and transferring all personal responsibility from O'Brien to Jane Hall, who has been handling the county CETA employees. Commissioner Larry Puffer was not at the meeting. Norris was given the authority to appoint someone in and handle CETA matters, with a stipulation that person will be reported to the commutation, not to O'Brien. Watkins said his motion were aimed at avoiding interruption of the comptroller's office because it is at a critical, vital stage that it keeping the employees from missing any pay. Labor officials on the commission met Thursday about the situation, and what North said was a fluctuation instead of an official meeting. Sharing minutes was being typed Friday in the official records. Pittman said Friday that they left the Thursday morning meeting expecting a written clarification of the situation from the Labor Department's regional office. North said he received by telephone Friday afternoon the official determination and that was a directive for suspension. Okay, quick weather report. Right now at Hartsfield Airport, Atlanta, Georgia, temperature 32 degrees with a droop at about 67 degrees, humidity 84%. Barometer 3.18 inches, winds east-southeast about 6 miles per hour, visibly 10 miles, condition overcast skies. And around the nation today, thunderstorms are to be expected over the upper Mississippi Lakes here, elsewhere. Most of the sunny skies are forecast. So our forecast for Georgia, partly skies. For tomorrow, for Sunday, was scattered mainly afternoon and evening thunder showers. After that is 80 to the north to around 90 in the south, with lows tonight 60 to the north to 70 in the south. For extended forecast for Georgia, scattered thunderstorms continuing mainly during the afternoon and evening. Monday for Wednesday, continued warm, but has mostly in the 80s and low 60s north to the low 70s in the south. Sunrise tomorrow morning, 7:14 a.m. Sunset tomorrow evening about 7:32 p.m. And that's coming in for the WTCG Channel 17 10 o'clock news on this Friday night, September 16, 1977. Coming next on Channel 17 will be Braves pregame show, and then the Braves taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA. I'm Pierce, and we have a good night. Have a good weekend.